Sunday morning before the sun gets hot, Coffee Cup League, I take my grid spot. GT3 shoes, I lace them up tight. From the green flag, praying to the check of the night. Big Jim on the call, got that fire in his throat. Motor mouth a roll and every lap gets rolled. Nürburgring, baby, I learned to dance. Long Beach walls got me running on chance. Rain on the visor, shine on the paint. Hard in my hands, but I never break late. Road Atlanta climb, I smell that pine. Feel it piling waves, and I still hold the line. Coffee Cup, don't let go. Coffee Cup, I want that roll. Sunday morning, rain or shine. GT3, and I draw the line. Coffee Cup, hear me roar. Coffee Cup, one lap more. At the ring, it's a mile of fear. Blind Chris, cold grip, but I'm still here. Long Beach hairpin, scrape that wall. One bad shove and you can lose it all. Road Atlanta dips, red clay dust. Feel a piling wind and the tires just trust. I chase that rhythm, I chase that bite. Through every country I fight that fight. Yellow flag waves, then the track goes clean. Everybody wants that podium dream. Big Jim says, hold it now. I lean on the door and I show 'em how. Coffee Cup, don't let go. Coffee Cup, I want that roll. Sunday morning, rain or shine. GT3, and I draw the line. Coffee Cup, hear me roar. Coffee Cup, one lap more. From the first turn into the final bend, we come back meaner every Sunday again. If the sky turns gray, we don't call it off. We just get louder when the tires cough. Coffee Cup, don't let go. Coffee Cup, I want that roll. Sunday morning, rain or shine. GT3, and I draw the line. Coffee Cup, hear me roar. Coffee Cup, one lap more. Big Jim on the mic, motor mouth wide. I'm still full send on a Sunday drive. Coffee Cup, that's my home. On every world track, I ain't riding alone. Sunday morning before the sun gets hot, Coffee Cup League, I take my grid spot.
It's the moment we've all been waiting for, a little bit of a break, but we're officially back with season number 6 of Coffee Cup, presented to you by iRacing League. We head to the place where sunsets are quite golden, and the shower storms in terms of rain and sun are quite a vivid mix. We head all the way down to Miami here at the Miami International Autodrome for some GT3 racing, and it is so good to be back. My name is Tristan Herbst, joined by Jim Cunningham in the production box as well as the commentating box. And I think we've got quite a show coming for you all today. It is officially round number 1 of season number 6. 3 classes take to the track yet again in the GT3s. The pros, pro-ams, and pros. The pros, pro-ams, and ams will be taking to Miami Autodrome. And if you're familiar with Formula One, you've seen this track before, and we get to race the GT3s on it. Jim, how are we feeling for this race? It's good to be back for round number 1.
Man, good to be back with you. It's been a hot minute. Been several months since we worked together. Yeah, man, I'm excited. I have to say I wasn't a huge fan of Miami when it hit the Formula One circuit originally. The little kooky paint that looks like water and all that kind of stuff's not really my cup of tea, so to speak. But it's grown on me. When it hit iRacing, I immediately jumped out there and did a race in the Porsche Cup, and I found the track to be much tougher than I thought it was going to be. There's some curbs here that are absolutely brutal. It's tight. It's going to be interesting with the, 30-plus car field. I guess, I don't know, we're probably 35, 36 cars, something like that. It's going to be pretty tight out there, and so I'll be curious to see, how it goes. But I'm predicting there's probably going to be a little bit of carnage. First race of the season, tight racetrack, should be interesting.
Yeah, definitely. It's going to be a bit of a defrost here for a couple of our drivers. We've got a few new guys coming onto the track, and a couple of, the seasoned veterans of the Old Guide Racing League coming back for season number 6. But exactly what Jim was speaking about in terms of what the track is looking like. We've also got the track map coming to you just after qualifying during our 5-minute intermission, which will be a nice preview of how things are looking. But we are officially into qualifying with about 7 minutes left to go. Obviously, only 3 laps allocated to each driver. And currently, it is Kiko Lassalle up at the top of the GT3 Pros of the 154.8. Brian Faluna, a name you'll recognize from season number 5, is into the second position slot. Actually, I stand corrected. Takes a first position just as I'm speaking about him. And into the 154.8 he goes. Tidwell is into third as well. Jonathan Williams will be your first of the Pro-Ams to break into that top 5. And then Alexander Claudio, the last of your top 5. The rest of the drivers still trying to complete their stints currently for qualifying. But something big that we got to talk about is it's the start of the season, and there's an entire calendar ahead of us. We've got your entire season schedule coming up right now, and we'll have a look at all that there is to come. We're at May 17th with Miami International Autodrome, and we go all the way racing for 13 rounds down to August the 30th, which is yet another Nürburgring combined long for that endurance, as well as the Road America full for the Petit Le Mans endurance on the July 19th, round number 7. I got to say, Jim, I'm quite fascinated with the calendar picking. We've got a lot of good circuits here for the GT3 class.
Yeah, indeed we do. And I was, they actually consulted with me about tracks that I wanted to see, and there were a couple tracks that the admins and I agreed on that were, that weren't on the original calendar. Interlagos, obviously, I think that goes without saying. To me, it's one of the best tracks in the world. I picked St. Petersburg. I wanted to see some road circuits, and as it turns out, we've got 3 with Miami, St. Petersburg, and Long Beach. Those are all going to be pretty tough, tough and tight. But yeah, good. Phillip Island was the other one. That was one of my suggestions, and it was also one of the admin's favorite picks as well. I think Phillip Island is an underrated track, So, yeah, good overall schedule. There's a couple of on here that I was like when I saw Usher Slaben on there. But that track does race pretty well, so it should be fun.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got a lot of good technical circuits from what I'm seeing on our calendar. Yeah, like you mentioned, Oschersleben, that's going to be a great one to watch in the GT3s. And then a couple of the classics, Hockenheimring, Interlagos. Those are going to be quite good to watch in the GT3 class. But that is officially your schedule coming up. Make sure you bookmark those dates for your Sunday mornings if you're in America and to come down to watch OGRL. But obviously, if you've been in the OGRL family for a while, you know that Sunday is not the only day that we have racing. We've got an entire week schedule where things happen around the clock. Monday is your rookie-like road course, which is everything to do with your rookie level vehicles and tracks, meaning all you need to do is own the base game of iRacing and you can join in on the fun. Tuesday is your ARCA Championships, followed by Wednesday of your hometown short track. Another great one with your mini stock street stocks and modified late model legends, including all of the above. And then we've got Thursday, which is your Thursday Thunder Trucks, which is your NASCAR trucks. And then obviously your final event of the week is your GT3 Coffee Cup, which is currently live with you on Motormouth Broadcasting. And all of this can be found in the bottom right-hand side, discord.gg/OGRL if you want to get involved in all of the fun. We do have about 4 minutes left of our qualifying session, and our drivers are indeed out on the wire. Ryan Merriam, the winner of season number 5, is already out on track and breaking further down into those 54s, now into a 668, and managing to set himself a pole. We've also got Omet Ohm, which if you've seen her before on Motormouth Broadcasting, one of the broadcasters, and now taking to the track down in 14th in her Audi R8. I've got to make special notice. She's in the fan favorite car. And I dare say if anybody tries to contest the Audi, I will have Jim ban you in the chat. I'm kidding. that would be crazy, but you got to give respect to the Audi. It's an unloved car in iRacing at the moment, and it's always good to see it out on track. But about 3 minutes left of our qualifying session. We've also got loads of sponsors here with you for this season, and we've got to go through all of them as well, just to give a special thanks, especially going into round number 1. We've obviously got Gracie and Friends Holistic Pet Health. They were with us last season as well. Beaver Boost Mods, who will be picking some of the slower GT3 AM drivers and giving them a couple of setups and a bit of a Beaver Boost in order to help them out as we go through the season. Team Vet Boys joins on for this season number 6. Great to have them on board. Mass Solutions stays on as well as 520 Sim Graphics, who joins us for season number 6. Laurie's Locks also standing strong for season number 6 continuing. And then a special thank you as well to the channel sponsors for Motormouth Broadcasting, that being Roasted Records as well as the crew chief replacement, that is 10 times better digital racing engineer. Make sure to head to their site and give it a try. But that is all that we've got revolving around for this season, and it looks like it's going to be a good one with the awesome calendar we've got up ahead. But 2 minutes left to go. Most of our drivers have completed their laps, and Ryan Merriam looks like he's going to take it with a strong contention.
You know, I have to say, this does my heart good to see Ryan and Brad Lovings both back in the Porsches.
Absolutely.
They both were Porsche guys when, Brad was. I don't know. I think Ryan may have joined after I joined the league years ago. But, yeah, it's good to see both those guys back in the Porsche. So that's pretty exciting. And it is fun to see Amet in her Audi. She's a big Audi fan. So as somebody in the commentary booth with me is as well. But I think that's gonna just about wrap up everybody who looks like they're going to take a lap. There's still a couple of they're going to run out of time before they get one in anyway. So this is probably going to end up being where we end up with qualifying. To be honest, I watched Amet. She ended up qualifying 14th, but she spun twice on 2 different laps. So she only got one banker lap in there. So her pace is a little. To be fair, she's never driven this course. She doesn't really even drive iRacing. She's a Le Mans Ultimate person, big time. But she started driving iRacing because she does our track maps, and so she is decided that she wanted to start running some races, and she had never driven this track before, probably an hour ago. So we'll see how she gets around here as qualifying is done and dusted, and while they should be pulling out onto the track here to do a little warm-up session and get everybody acquainted with the track. And I think that's what you and I should do as well, get everyone acquainted with the track.
Absolutely. It's a decently complex circuit down in Florida, Miami, as I mentioned, where we get a lot of tropical storms over here. It's quite an often thing on the news that I see down here in South Africa, that Florida is always in a little bit of a weather shamble. But today it looks like a nice, bright and sunny day here at the Miami International Autodrome. A very familiar circuit, but also fairly new, but gaining reputation very, very quickly because of that Hard Rock Cafe. That Hard Rock Stadium that sits right in the center of it, consisting of about total 19 corners throughout it. We do start off on turn number 1, that big banker right, almost technically a hairpin if you want to consider it, but just breaking off to about 130 degrees of a right-hand turn. You then head through a little bit of a snake winding section where you've got to watch out for these curbs, especially in the wet. You do not want to get over them too much. That will potentially unsettle the rear side of the car. It's a little bit of a stretch then that brings you down to turn number 4, which is a bit of a left-hand banker, and you'll recognize these corners from Formula 1 if you've ever watched them. Obviously, the Formula 1 cars take slightly different speeds compared to the GT3s. You've got a nice long left-hand banker. You've got to watch your braking, or else you might overshoot it. You want to connect that inside apex corner and then take a long stretch out as you head towards T number 13. T number 11, apologies. It's a long way down. T number 9 and T number 10, not necessarily corners, more just kind of slight kinks in the straight. So it's a long shot all the way down to T number 11. No form of DRS or boost in the GT3 cars. Just a long stretch and a little bit of slipstream if you are in an active contention for position. It's a hard breaker, though, into T number 11. You break left into the stadium section, where you'll see a lot more fans, a little bit of music being played around if you've ever been to any of the live events, and a couple of very tight corners, Monaco-style chicanes, where the inside barriers can definitely terminate your car for the entire the remainder of the race. It's then one final left-hander that breaks you onto the massive back straight that is well-known and iconic here at Miami. It's the back straight from T16 all the way down to T17, spanning across the entire right-hand side of the circuit. It's full flat, full straight, all the way down, making sure that you do not get overtaken on the inside by slipstream, but it is probably going to happen with the downforce levels of these cars. Turn number 17 is a massive hairpin breaker, where you have to ensure that you get on the brakes well enough in time and don't attempt to overshoot. It's then a slight left-hander as you ride over the outside curb, and 2 final corners of 18 and 19 that round you up to the checkered flag line for the Miami International Autodrome track. And I've got to say, what a track. Like Jim said, not a fan favorite when it was first released. A little bit of a weird one for us to get used to, but I can't lie. For GT3 racing in specific, I feel like it's a great blend of straights and corners, and it is a real test to driver knowledge.
Yeah, fantastic track, man. Like I said, I didn't appreciate it because of the kookiness of the painted areas with the boats and all that they do for the Formula 1 race. But after driving it, I do have a lot of respect for the racetrack as a track. And it's a good portion of it is in a what I guess what you would call a car park. We would call a parking lot here in the United States. And so it's going to be a little slicker because there's regular situations where cars are parked and drip oil and things like that on it. And of course in the rain it gets really bad, but even in the dry, there's still all of that the stuff soaked into the asphalt there. But I think it's going to be a challenging course. The thing that concerns me here, there's 2, is the tightness in certain areas and the cars getting in there, as big as these cars are, and the curbs. The curbs here there's several of them that will absolutely wipe you out. They will launch a car.
Yeah, and I mean, if you've watched previous seasons of the OGRL, you know that our fights are quite intense between our drivers. And especially during turns number 15 and 14, where we have that pretty tight Monaco-style chicane, going too wide can be quite threatening to your race if you don't take it well. So exactly like Jim says, we might have a couple of technical corners here where drivers will have to make up their minds of whether or not they'd like to continue an attack on another driver or if they'd like to play it safe and go for the long run. But Jim, something that just sparked my memory, especially with the starting of a new season, means new liveries. We've got a lot of creatives out on our grid here, and I've already seen a couple of them. I saw a Tag Heuer Ford Mustang, very creative. I'm seeing a nice yellow Mercedes who just got absolutely wrecked off of the field, and he's been removed as our warm-up does indeed come to an end. But keep your eye out, everybody, on our virtual grandstand, as the liveries do get quite amazing here at the Old Guy Racing League. A couple of other leagues we've done together as well, where the liveries are insane, and it's always a fan favorite when you get to see some great liveries out on track. But it looks like we are just about ready for our starting procedure. A couple of our cars coming out of the garage and parking it up. It is indeed Ryan Merriam and Brian Faluna, two of the veterans from the Old Guy Racing League, taking it on front row with the Porsches. It then moves over to second row of Kiko Lassalle, just alongside Bradley Tidwell in P number 4. The Lamborghini has done all the work it's needed to do. P5, Jonathan Williams, the first of the Pro-Ams, taking 5th position. Alexander Claudio, just not enough to top him in the Ford Mustang. P7 in that 4th row. It is going to be Aaron Gehring and Raul Pasta in that Ferrari Bilstein. Very nice livery as well. Quinton Price, a familiar name, P9, with Stephen Smalley in P number 10. Another Porsche lockout for row number 5. Row number 6 is Jose Carlos Villarejo Sr. in that P number 11 spot, and Ivan Vesca in P number 12. Another Porsche lockout. Seems like it's a common pick for Miami. P13 is Alan Purser with Omet Ohm in the R8 in 14th position. 15th, a little bit further down, and starting off our 8th row, is going to be Carlos Ruiz Padilla in that P15 slot, and and Dustin Dos Veis in that P16 slot with the Ferrari 296. P17 is Robert Sackett and Zombara Akos in the BMW M4 GT3, just a bit further down in row 9. Row 10 is Bradley Lovings and Cole Modric in the 2 Porsches yet again. P21, following on to row number 11, is going to be Will Bailey in another great Merc GT livery. Pernell Hanault, another familiar name, into P22 in the Corvette. P23, following on, Curtis Matthews, a familiar name and the winner of the AMS in the previous season, and Jeremy Cheney alongside him in P24 in the Porsche 992. P25 going to Paul Corrali and Julian Rees in 26th position. Row 14, though, as we slowly start to get to the end of it, is Michael Champlin as well as Brandon Berg in the Corvette. Another great livery from that Corvette as well. P16, though, coming from Brian Dukowski, and there's your Tag Heuer livery with Nick Marshall just alongside him in P number 30. P31, though, and rounding off on your 16th grid is Micah Dickerson and Hayes Bogan in 32nd position. We are slowly getting to the end of it, or this might be the final row, I believe. One more row to come, or a few more. Landon Abbott in P number 33, and Kevin Miller alongside him in P number 34. 35 is indeed going to be Cameron Risley and David Stoops in 36, and I believe Stoops might be our final driver on grid. Indeed it is, and that is your full running order. 36 GT3 cars take to the Autodrome, and boy oh boy, I cannot wait to see what the Porsches are going to do. We've got a lot of hungry rear engine cars that are going to be trying to get up in the faces of the front wheel drive and front engine placement, big strong powerhouses of the Ford Mustangs and the Mercedes. And it's always great to see the power battles and the different types of GT3s out on track, and it all comes down to skill level and driving style, and definitely going to be a good one as our drivers come towards the end of their formation lap.
Yeah, this is I'm pumped, man. I love this league. This was the very first league I ever joined when I was on my first league in iRacing, and I joined here, and that's how I actually discovered broadcasting existed. So I'm really excited to see this one get back underway. I've been waiting for a while on this one, so.
Yeah, definitely a great one to get back into it. I've also been a little bit MIA in terms of the international commentating stuff. It slowed down, it looks like, through the months of May and April, but it's great to be back with Old Guy Racing League. Won't be here for all of the rounds, but it'll be great to be here for at least a couple of them as we get to see our massive grid. As you see it just a little bit further behind, coming to a close now, David Stoops there in his purple Corvette as he rounds it up. We've got a full-on Chevy pickup truck leading this. I haven't seen that before. Usually it's a Ford Mustang pace car, but this time we've got a big old pickup truck up in front leading the GT3s down the back straight. A nice long back straight allows us to wait while the drivers get to the brake dragging. They're making sure that the brakes and the inner side of their rims are nice and warm. They do not want to be cold on race start. It will massively affect their braking, but coming around to the starting procedure is going to be Merriam alongside for Luna and Lascelles. It is coming towards the start of it. The gantry lights are prepared to turn off as they are getting ready to go. It is indeed a dash off the line, and Merriam on the rolling start has pulled away, and it is lights out, and away we go for the start of round number 1 for Old Guy Racing League. Merriam gets a beautiful jump, though, and completely manages to bait behind. Lascelles gets past for Luna, but it's back and forth jumping between the two of them. The rest of our grid looks to manage turn 1 quite well as the race tried to manage, but there's an accident. That looks like Raul Pasta, possibly, who's gone off, or one of the other Ferrari 296s who's been booted. It's Ivan Veska, actually, who's gone down to 11th position in class, unfortunately, and he drops down in this fight while Merriam stays strong up in front. The number 1 car, the winner from last season, and it looks like he's starting the stride quite strong here, Jim.
Yeah, he's one of the obviously one of the very strongest cars in the league. He's 2-time defending champion now, so he's been hot now for a couple of seasons for sure. This is so he's off to a good start. Obviously, qualifying at this track is going to be hugely important. Just being able to start up front and stay out of some of this trouble is probably going to be pretty beneficial here.
Yeah, absolutely. Trying to get away now is going to be the massive objective of Ryan Merriam. Try and build a bit big of a gap so that Brian Faluna doesn't have much of a slipstream or any form of a draft from behind. But I believe that's going to be manageable by Mr. Merriam up in front. So we'll have to wait and see if he's got it in him to make it work. Throughout the back, though, Will Bailey currently goes second. And there's those curbs that Jim was talking about. Right over the curb he goes and completely bounces over while he tries to manage the rest of the track. And as they all head onto the main straight now, it's now the fight. Will Bailey will be in that slipstream. Someone's across again. It looks like Curtis Matthews, I believe, or someone else far off in the background who is planted sideways at the entrance curb of the back straight. And you can see him just backwards facing over there. Looks like one of the Porsches. Not 100% sure who that is, but unfortunately,
Abbott, maybe?
Yeah, could be.
No, he's
that's a Ford Mustang. Could
Marshall.
be, though. I mean, the Ford...
Nick Marshall,
possibly.
Yeah. Well, we're going to take a look at a couple of those opening lap incidents. Let's see.
We've got still Curtis Matthews running in the mid-pack, and we'll remember him from the AM. So here's Dustin Dos Vase, who actually was the 296 who went off, and just getting his backside tapped off there by one of the Porsche 992s, and unfortunately nothing he could do to get that car back on track. He has to follow the rejoining rules, and he's not allowed to rejoin during an active racing
Cole
section.
Modric in an early lap. Well, just cold tires and right in front of, who was that? Oh, man, that looked like that was Bradley Lovings that hit him. Oh.
Yeah, 77 of the Merc also had to slam on the brakes there, else he would have had a bit of a porker sandwich. Yeah, good save there from Kevin Miller. Hayes Bogan, yeah, on the inside line. Looks like he just stops the car for some reason.
Probably was already involved in something. Let's get back to the live action, and I'll get some action heating up here. 3 wide through there.
Ooh, 3 wide. It looks like the racing is definitely coming alive over here as we've got Dukowski leading that pack just up in front. 24th, Brandon Berg and Dustin Dos Vase will be joining in on the backside there. Obviously, all a little bit of a mixed league there, all 3 in different leagues as Brandon Berg completely misses the chicane for turn 15. And he's going to have to give those positions up. Unfortunately, he can't cut and get away with it. And so that's going to be a loss of position. Kevin Miller gets up ahead of him in his yellow-looking Hornet-style Mercedes GT. That's the Merc who just managed to avoid the Porsche sandwich on the left-hand side of the track. And he continues driving. I'm still wondering, that's the Porsche in the background there, Jim. I don't know if you see that Porsche with the green, almost looks like a Hulk. That was the Porsche parked sideways over the back straight. So I'm still not sure 100% who that is.
I think that is not it, right?
Yeah, there we go.
Oh, that's Marshall.
It is indeed.
Nick
It's
Marshall,
Nick Marshall. Yeah, so Nick Marshall, and that explains why he's so... Yeah, it really is. I love that livery. But I think that explains why we saw him so far off on the grid currently, parked sideways on the corner exit. That would definitely do it. Ivan Veska comes out of the pit lane now. David Stoops appears to be out of the race as well. So not too sure. A little bit of action towards the backside of our grid, and a couple of drivers definitely struggling to get back into the swing of things here as Stoops now drops all the way to the backside of the grid. But for Merriam up in front, he's definitely still leading this with quite a charge. He's gotten it to over 1.5 seconds to Faluna, and that is going to be quite a charge that Faluna will have to try and do to get back up to the top. Kiko Lassalle also trying his hardest in that BMW M4 to get onto the backside of Brian Faluna, but that's going to be a hard fight with the Porsches appearing to have a little bit of an advantage here. I don't know if you're noticing it, Jim, but definitely through the technical section,
oh yeah,
the Porsches seem to have the best pace.
No, I think that they are really 100% suited for this track because, you know, their top speed's not bad. The recent bop that was done a few weeks ago, across the board bop, not just for a special event, kind of benefited the Porsches pretty well also. So, and as far as we've got a name clarification here that I am fixing to, for the past couple of seasons, we've been calling Dustin Doss Vase. That was what was in there, you know, as far back as I can remember. Apparently his actual name is Dustin Dias, D-I-A-S, and I'm fixing to correct that right now.
Oh, Diaz.
Yeah. So.
Oh, that is very different to Dos Vase.
Yes. And apparently he got tired of being called. I mean, he messaged me just a minute ago, so I'm going to change it real quick here, and we'll swap him over to that for the rest of the broadcast. So.
Well, it's a good thing he mentioned it on round number 1 and not round number 6. So he's only got one round of season number 6 of his name being called wrong. And now we get to see Dustin Diaz out on track. There we already see it reflecting down in 24th position as he fights out with Brian Dukowski in 23rd. Currently on board, though, with Alan Purser down in 12th position. Also a bang smack livery, the Alpine Porsche 992. Great combination of car and colors as he goes around track, currently fighting with Jose Villarejo, as well as Carlos Ruiz just a little bit further behind him. So in a bit of a sandwich there that he's got to fight with. He's got a BMW on the backside and a Porsche up in front. So equal machinery battle up in front that he's going to have to try and work with.
I was trying to figure out what happened to our broadcast partner, Met. She has dropped down the order. So I went back and took a look at some incidents, and apparently this right here is what happened. Apparently she won. I don't know what she won, but it showed. I don't know.
I see a chicken flag.
I have no idea what that is. Okay, well
I see our man on the left-hand side waving a checkered flag there.
I have no idea. I thought I found something, but apparently I did not find what I needed. That was during qualifying, I think, when she spun. So
yeah, it could be.
That's pretty funny. But she is down now in 26th place, so she's down 12 spots from where she started the race. So whatever happened, she was on pit road for a decent amount. It looks like she might even potentially started the race from pit road, so I'm not sure what happened there. Maybe later we'll drag her into the booth here and see if we can get a word with her and figure out what happened.
Yeah, a little bit of a complicated start for Omet over there, but nonetheless, she'll keep on pushing on. 12th position in. She is quite a bit further down that she's going to have to work with. It appears that Alan Purser has still managed to stay right in between. No movement on Ruiz and Villarejo Sr., and so he's going to have to try all of his luck. There was a lunge earlier from Alan Purser on just up in front of the likes of Villarejo Sr., but unfortunately it didn't stick. And it was an easy switchback for him, and unfortunately he lost that position yet again. So he's got to work quite hard to try and make up positions here. Almost about 10 minutes gone through of our race. So still a lot of time on the board here for our drivers. A couple of mandatory stops that still have to go across the board for most of the drivers here. And that's also going to add an element of strategy in terms of when drivers come in, how much fuel they place into their car, and obviously that pit entry and exit is also going to be vital to their performance in this race. But still up in front, we still have Miriam, Paluna, and Lassalle. That's completely unchanged. Tidwell is unfortunately losing a lot of traction to the front runners, over 3 seconds away now. Raul Pasta also 4.3 seconds away from Aaron Gearing. He's got a little bit of competition behind from Quinton Price as well as Jonathan Williams. They're both about 8 to 6 tenths behind equally. And so they're eventually going to become a threat to him if he makes some form of error. And so Raul Pasta needs to try and keep himself locked and loaded here in that Bullstein livery, and hopefully he can bring something home.
He's the leader in the Pro-Am category.
Exactly.
So he, he just definitely needs to, not necessarily worry about those pros that are in front of him, and just maintain his lead over Quentin Price, who's right there behind him in that quite interesting Easter livery on the. I think it's an Easter livery. It reminds me of an Easter basket livery or something.
I definitely see what you're saying. I'm seeing the grass. Could that also not just represent him always being on the grass? I'm not sure.
Well, I don't know. That was certainly Brad Loving's theory last year when he was running the lawnmower livery because he was mowing so much grass.
Well, it looks like Quentin Price has somewhat of a similar analogy on his car. I'm seeing the grass edgings all over, and obviously on the backside it does indeed say Q Price. So that's a nice and personalized livery coming from his side. He's got Stephen Smalley on the backside, followed by, again, Jose Villarejo. So that's going to be a bit of a fight that they've got to work with. But for the time being, it's a bit of a split up between most of our drivers. You can see on the left-hand side, the numbers represent the attacking distances between our drivers. As you can see, the orange represents under 5/10, and that is coming right now from Stephen Smalley as it now extends just outside of that 5/10 bracket. Yellow is going to be your 5/10 to 1 second, and then white, obviously, your 1 second plus. AKA white means that there's no attacking chance at that current moment. Orange means that something is imminently about to happen, and yellow means that something might happen depending on performance. Zomba Akos gets his first yellow flag, though, down in 14th position. That's a slowed down penalty for cutting the track somewhere. So he's going to have to slow the car down and get the penalty served out on track unless he wants to face further consequences. As we now still see Jonathan Williams. He's fighting quite hard here with Jose Villarejo. And, sorry, that's Stephen Smalley in the Porsche.
I'm trying to figure out what happened to Williams, because he qualified significantly ahead of everybody else in the category, and he's now running third in class and 10th overall. I'm trying to see where, where it might have all went wrong for him,
Yeah, because he qualified fourth from what I believe.
Yeah, I believe it was fourth or fifth,
Yeah, so he had a great qualifying. And then something must have happened, maybe lap one, just getting involved in a little bit of chaos and being locked off or possibly made contact with someone. And that's slightly unfortunate there for Jonathan Williams, because we've seen his speed in both practice and qualifying, and now being booted down to 10th position, and he's got to work quite hard to get ahead of Stephen Smalley, Quentin Price, and Raul Pasta to regain the lead of the Pro-Am grid. So that's going to be quite a hard one to fight with. And in terms of your AMs, it is indeed Robert Sackett down in 20th who leads your AM category. He's got Julian Reese, his own competitor, just behind in 21st. So that's also going to be a battle to watch for as they begin to get closer. It's going to be the absolute mission of Julian Reese to try and close in on Sackett and contest for the lead of the AM category. Jeremy Cheney's had a bit of a rough one here as well. Jim, we usually see him towards the top side of the pro class. He's down 19th overall currently, and qualifying he was also down in 24th. So a little bit of a struggler coming from Jeremy Cheney, as we just see Raul Pasta absolutely scraping the inside wall there with his Ferrari 296. So got to be careful with that inner walling, can cause a little bit of damage. There we see our biggest movers, as we see Paul Corrali currently up 10 positions in 15th place. Kevin Miller up 8 currently. Bernal Heinold matching that 8th, and Brian Dukowski up 7. Julian Reese currently up 5. So lots of movements out on our grid. A couple of drivers have unfortunately dropped off, like Omet, and a couple of others. Ivan Vesca, Dustin Diaz has also dropped off slightly. And that's just how GT3 racing goes. It's a little bit of up and down, but once all the strategy's been played out, we get a clear picture at the end of who will be on top.
Yeah, I'm looking here at this Quentin Price Raul Pasta battle, and that's exactly what it's turning into here. It's turning into quite a battle. Let's see, set this properly here. And, should give us an idea. Quentin is the leader in the Pro-Am division with Raul Pasta behind, right behind him actually, only 0.3 of a second or so right there. Which at this point it seems like Pasta's pushing pretty hard to try to pass him maybe. but there's an element of tire saving around here. I would think that this place is going to be a bit rough on tires anyway, being an old parking lot, or part of it is a parking lot.
Yeah, definitely that degraded
Plus that
material
track
will
temperature,
definitely
holy
do it.
cow.
Yeah, 81 degrees Fahrenheit. I already know that converts to just under around 30 degrees Celsius. So that's quite a.
Well, that's
I believe
air
that's
temperature.
ambient, right?
The track temperature
that's
is
air. I'm talking about,
105 degrees. So
yeah, it's
pretty-
about almost
that's-
40 degrees Celsius.
yeah, that's
crazy.
pretty rubber melting there. That gets up to the point where it becomes a real problem.
Yeah, so we're looking to see a little bit of a weird pit stop strategy coming in from our drivers then. Very technical in terms of how those tires are going to drop off. I feel like it's going to be a bit of a cliff graph as the more they fight, the rubber on the tires is going to start to wear off and tear quite quickly, like Jim says. It's the concreted and asphalt materials of the flooring of the parking lot style racetrack combined with that incredibly hot track, and exactly what I'm talking about in terms of Florida, Miami. It's either extremely hot or there's a tropical storm, one of the two. So,
well, it rains.
as we can see,
It rains every day in South Florida, so in the summer especially, those little pop-up summer showers down there. But, the thing is, in most this is a 55-minute main event, feature race here. You don't typically see tire changes in a 55-minute race in GT3s, but I don't know with this track temperature. Maybe some of these guys will change tires. It'll be quite interesting to see how that works out.
Yeah, it's a bit of a complex one, and that's why I say the strategy is going to be quite interesting as to if these drivers can actually make it to the end on the standard one, single tire that they usually do. And usually the pit stop, the mandatory that has to be done, is usually just the fill-up. But if these tires are dropping off too quickly because of the track degradation, combined with fighting that we have out on track, a couple of our drivers might be having to put another set on here in order to make it towards the end without sacrificing a possible puncture. Back up in sixth, though, it is Mr. Bradley Tidwell in his Lamborghini. We saw him fighting this car quite aggressively in the last season, and he really was enjoying it. I remember the one rain race. This man had so much focus on his face, and he immediately lost that smile. You'll notice with Bradley Tidwell, he's always happy, but that rain race was...
We did Mother's Day mum run last week on Saturday, and so it was wives and mothers and sisters and whatever. It was for a female race, and so Bradley had his mother in there racing, and she did not know the camera was on, and she was so animated. She was so cute, with her. She was calm. She's just like him. I mean, she literally had that same look, how he looked, And then when she would get into something intense, you could see she was like almost screaming, like she was into it, man. And she was so much fun to watch. But what a great event that was! So much fun. If you're looking for a league, that's the kind of stuff they do here. It's more than just come in and racing. I mean, they have fun. They do stuff like the mum run, and that is and then they're always throwing up for fun events, races. They were doing. They're doing a hill climb challenge I saw the other day. Just all kinds of cool stuff,
Yeah, it's great to see the community being built up in specific leagues, especially with the likes of OGRL, with so many events running across the week, and so many nice events happening as well with certain holidays around the year. It's always great to see the community being built up. And that's something that you kind of got to value, because it really differentiates leagues from being community-based leagues and then just being leagues where people come to make some money. I feel like most of the people in OGRL, sure, there might be a little bit of a prize pool here or there, but I mean, everybody sticks here because of the community and because of the family and friends that they get to build out on track and also outside of the track, on all the Discord servers and the community groups that get made with OGRL. And so it's a great thing that looks to continue to run for the foreseeable future, which means that Sunday Coffee Cup will also be here for the foreseeable future, which is an absolutely great thing.
This league's not going anywhere for sure. So that
Yeah,
green and
absolutely.
white livery, man, has some throwback vibes to Jaguar. I mean, I know it's
Oh,
not.
absolutely. I was just about to say
I
it.
mean, I know it's not, obviously, but it just gives me that feeling. Like when I saw that green and white, the first thing that came to mind to me was a Jaguar type throwback, right? And which I have to admit is one of my all-time favorite colors on a car. That Jaguar green is racing, British racing green is just amazing color. So I love it.
Yeah, that is a chemical combination of a livery. I cannot lie to you. Great mix of colors. And I definitely get where you are coming from with the Jaguar referencing. I'm pretty sure that is color matched to the Jaguar colors, I've got to say.
It
It's
looks
that
like it, for
very,
sure.
yeah,
There's
it
a
definitely
interesting,
does.
striking kind of car there. That one made me go, oh, when I saw it.
Yeah, the Alexander Claudio coming with a little bit of more. He was in the 296 last season and coming out this time with the Ford Mustang for BWE. And looks like an entire new livery has been chucked onto the car frame. Very nice fluorescent looking pinks and blues. And definitely makes him stand out on track. Well, you need to stand out on track when you're running out in fourth. It's a high ranking position out on track. And so he definitely needs to show that on-track dominance with a great livery. Just behind him, there's also Aaron Gearing. He's got a new livery, almost looks like a South African livery. From the looks of it at this angle, lots of the green mixtures, which is what we tend to see over here down in the south. But he's got the big British flag on the top. That obviously represents the origin of that livery. And still a great, I love the linearity on the left and right-hand sides that kind of just almost pull up the speed of what the car looks like. So Gearing still chasing down on Claudio in fourth position. And then there we see Tidwell just a bit further behind with Quentin Price leading quite a long train of cars that he's got to try and defend from. And that's what he's going to be doing for the next 20 to 30 minutes of what we've got left here. But about 12 laps have gone by so far. And it'll be interesting to see what the tires are looking like at the time being. But we'll only basically know if we do see someone go in and go up on the jacks.
I'll tell you what we could do. We could potentially right now. Well, let's see where I'm at. Is she in the broadcast waiting room? She might not.
Not sure.
She is.
She's on track banter.
But she loves to talk while she's driving. She usually streams, so she's always, just going on and on. I'll never forget one of the very first times I ever saw her on track before I really knew her. She was doing a endurance race, and she was just chatting away with the people, and this was during. Like I said, during an endurance race, and she was setting fast lap after fast lap after fast lap. And people, speaking of fast laps, here she comes. And as she's catching Dustin Diaz. That's going to be so hard. I've been calling him Dos Vase for several seasons now. It's going to be really tough for me to start saying Dustin Diaz. Oh, well, he almost caught the wall there. He might have even grazed it.
Yeah, it looks like it's given an attacking opportunity, though, from Omet. She's coming on the left-hand side in that striking R8, and it looks like she's going for the opportunity to overtake. Got the inside line, slightly less kilometers having to be traveled, and it looks like she's going to make it stick. An entire car length ahead of that 296 and head deep into the braking zone.
Well,
will move up one position into 18. That's a great overtake.
Yeah, I don't know why the track map is not showing here. This track has certainly been out long enough for iRacing to have a track map up. I am so confused by this.
Definitely should.
Yeah, it's been this season. This thing's been out for like 2 seasons now.
That's a bit of a strange one, but at least we got a bit of a track map preview at the beginning, so people are familiar.
On Purnell here.
Yeah, this is a great little fight onto the hairpin. Final corner, and it looks like he's made it stick, but it's opened the door as well for the BMW there of Zamba Akos, and it looks like he's going to come on the outside line of the Team Vet boys of Pernal Hanault, but this is going to be a close fight between these two because now Hanault has got the inside line on the BMW M4, and looks like he is going to make it stick unless he makes an error through the SS section. He should be safe for the time being from Zamba Akos. We do have Raul Pesta coming into the pits. Yeah, just come into the pit now. Wonder if he's going to go up on jacks. No, that was quick.
Is he? No, that definitely is not a. Definitely was
Yeah,
not a
no,
tire
definitely
change
not.
there. No, 100%. I guess we're at the start of that. We're 24 minutes into this race, so there's only roughly 31 minutes left. So it's gonna. At this point, I think we're gonna start seeing those stops happen here. I wondered. It looks like Parnell might be trying to make a run back here on Will Bailey, and let's see. I tell you, there's one thing you won't say about this track is there's not a whole lot of elevation change on it, like none.
Nope, definitely not. I mean, I doubt it.
Oh,
That's a
way
complete
deep.
overshoot for Hanold. Yeah, way deep, and he's going to have to give that position back. There goes back past Will Bailey. But I would doubt that there'd be much gradient change in a parking lot. That would be kind of weird. So that's why we're seeing
they
such
could have done it
such
in the
a huge amount
parking
of practice.
garage. That would have given.
Yeah, true.
Don't y'all call
true.
those car parks too, though?
What, like a private garage?
Well, like a parking garage, like you would see it maybe at a stadium, so that they can stack.
Oh yeah, that's a parking garage. We also call it a parking garage.
Parking garage, okay.
Yeah.
But you do call a parking lot a car park, right?
No, it's also called a parking lot.
Okay. Well, I guess I know the English definitely call a parking lot a car park.
No, I think the weirdest South African thing is that we call traffic lights, we call them robots, which is something that that's what they're called, and confusing topic, but they're called robots. And
we'll have
that
to
is,
expand upon that over the course of the year. I would love to hear a little more about that later on down the road as we see another car here entering pit road.
Yeah, Vesca.
Yeah, it's starting to happen. I'm probably.
I don't think anyone's going for tires though. So I mean, Vesca's going to come in now.
Not yet. We'll see.
Yeah, we could have a double pit stop. I mean, it's 26 minutes in. It's halfway through. Vesca's definitely not up on jack, so that's just fuel up. And so I don't think any of our drivers in this pit window are going to be putting any form of tires on. We are seeing a lot of low fuels. You can see it in the bottom right-hand side, provided by the overlays of Motormouth Broadcasting. Is the empty fuel gauge, and you can see it from Quentin Price. He's about 15% left. So
yeah, based on my calculations before the race and some information I got from some of the drivers. Well, that's the curb right there. Somebody will bite it on that curb before the day's over.
Oh, absolutely.
Mark my word.
Absolutely.
Yeah, in fact, somebody may already have. We just might have missed it. But the information that I picked up as we see Claudio here getting passed by Aaron Geary. Oh, he's going to come back on him, though. This is a battle. They're not done.
Oh, definitely. A little bit of side-by-side door bashing coming
wiggle
from these
there.
two.
Hey, back off. That's a good move by Gearing, though, I have to say.
Yeah, great move from Gearing. But now he's got the pressure on because Claudio's not gonna leave it alone. Yeah, those curbs are looking ever so more sketchier every single time we see a GT3 go over them.
This
especially
is not
that turn
a track
curb.
that you push the curbs super hard. It just isn't, I mean, there are places like there, no, nothing. But there's some spots that's got. They're not exactly sausage curbs per se, but they are definitely big old curbs,
Yeah, and it's weird because there's a couple of curbs as well that are basically not curbs. It's basically just track paint.
Yes.
And kind of just use this reference, especially through your fast left and right-handers. It's basically just track paint.
Right, but the ones that mark significant turns, a lot of those are seriously real big curbs.
Yeah,
but
massive sausage curb.
Based on based on the information I got, 19 laps is probably the fuel window for most of these cars. Each one obviously holds a little bit different amount of fuel, and then on top of that, there's fuel burn. Some of them are gas guzzlers, so to speak. And some are a little more efficient on fuel. Then, of course, driving style plays a huge part in that. I think the mark of what I would call a great driver would be somebody who can still be fast and save fuel, which is definitely not easy to do.
Yeah, that's funny enough one of the more important roles, especially in massive endurance teams. You'll know that especially in a 4 to 6 man team, you've actually got certain roles for each kind of driver, and the one we're primarily describing right now is the conservationist. You know, it's the person who can set the consistent lap times, but they are able to keep that car out as long as possible, stretch out that fuel tank by lifting and coasting and doing all forms of techniques to keep the car running and keeping everything running as smooth as possible. You've obviously got your pace setters and a couple of the more aggressive drivers who are there to try and get a couple of positions. But the position we're describing now, the conservationist, a very, very important role as somebody, especially in single races like this, a sprint series. Being that more conservative driver can actually benefit you in the long run. If you're able to keep that car out maybe 1 or 2 extra laps out with that fuel tank, it could possibly benefit you on an overcut strategy. So it's always interesting to learn the worlds of techniques and roles in GT3 racing. It's a much more complex and advanced category than most think. They just think, oh, it's a real life legal car with a big wang on the back and a little bit of downforce on the front, but there's a lot of technicalities to it, and that's what makes it so special and quite honestly possibly the most popular tin top racing series that is currently worldwide, which is why we get to see it so much. But we are well over halfway now, Jim, about 31 minutes into the race and 16 laps in. I'm expecting to see maybe one more pit stop from our drivers, but it depends on their strategy.
Yeah, well, let's try to take your shoes and socks off and do some math for me here. Let's see, we're almost at basically almost a 2-minute lap around here. So
basically,
in 55 minutes, that should mean how many laps? 60 would be 30 laps. So maybe 31, 32 laps at the most, depending on. Right? Does that sound right to you?
Yeah, it sounds about right. I was thinking about 28 to 32 laps, depending on obviously, certain circumstances in the race. But I think that roughly that's what we're going to be looking at. So, and we're at just about the halfway mark, 17 laps. And if you times that roughly by 2, we're looking at, just about 34, 35-ish laps. I don't think it's going to go on for that long. So I'm thinking somewhere around 30 laps is going to be our limit here. So I'm really wondering if we're going to see more pit stops coming in, especially from those drivers who came in around lap 12. It's a little bit earlier than the rest of the drivers who decided to come in, and I believe some are still out, as we see Bernal Hanault.
My guess is
coming
that,
now.
That lap 12 was probably the magic number. I think that is the number that they can go the distance from.
Yeah, it could possibly be. I mean, most of our drivers, yeah.
I think that was the number. And then you saw a couple come in at 13 and then 15, And I think now we're really going to start seeing them. They're going to the intensity's really going to pick up on pit road now, I think. Because we're certainly well within the make it window now. And at this point, I don't know. My pit philosophy in this situation is more of I'm going to run the car down to nothing because I want to run those laps on light fuel load. It's easier on the tires. It's faster around the track. Overall, I think that is the quickest way, to get around. So, if it's me, I'm going maximum. I'm going to, 18, 19, whatever I can make, and then pit.
Oh, it's exactly what Brian Dukowski is doing over here. He is pushing that car absolute limits over here to try and get past our old faster. So, but yeah, I definitely agree with you. It kind of just played by ear, I guess. You try and get the car as light as possible, like you say.
Didn't he last season? I believe Dukowski was in either a McLaren or a Corvette, right?
Corvette, correct? Yes, he was in a Corvette,
and he was in that same kind of color scheme. I don't know if it was a Tag Heuer paint livery, but he was in a livery that was blue and green like that lime green and blue.
No, he definitely was. I don't think it was the Tag Heuer livery, but he definitely was in a very luminescent kind of livery, very
I like
blue,
those
very
colors.
green.
That's a good looking car.
Yeah, absolutely. It
Will
makes
Bailey's
it nice and
in.
glowy, and there we see him, both of them actually. And Will Bailey, here comes Dukowski, and behind Dukowski is Robert Sackett. They all come in now. to serve at 18 laps. So a little bit after we saw the initial pit stops coming in from Raul Pasta in lap number 12.
I think you're
so
going
a little bit of
to see a hard hit here this lap and next lap. This is going to be, I think, the next 2 laps are going to probably see everybody in the field in.
Yeah, we're probably going to have a bit of a redemption day here in the pit lane where most of our drivers are going to come in and get some fuel in the cars. I mean, if we go on to Curtis Matthews and we bring on his onboard telemetry, you can possibly look at his fuel gauge and what he's got left in that Corvette. And that will give us a clear indicator of whether or not he's going to be coming in at the end of this lap. I know lots of our drivers push the car to the absolute limit to try and get it as light as possible. And there you see it from Curtis Matthews. That looks like about 3% left in his tank, possibly 5%.
Yeah.
So I'm expecting a very short pit stop. As we see it there comes Miriam and Faluna from the top 3. They've come in. Cole Modric has also come in. So we definitely are going to see it. Curtis Matthews is definitely going to come in at the end of this lap. He doesn't have enough. Yep, 100%. It is going to be D-Day in the
time. This is the time. So that's. But I mean, you're well within the window now, and you should be able to do a relatively short stop for fuel.
And I don't think so. I think at the 19 lap mark, I don't think any of these drivers are going to be doing a 2-stop. But for someone like Raul Pasta, who pitted at 12 laps, I feel like that's quite an early stop. As we do see Curtis Matthews pulling into that pit lane now. Who's going to follow? I have a feeling most are going to follow. There, Met comes in. Stephen Smalley's probably going to come in, depending on whether or not they've already pitted. We're seeing a lot of cars in the pit lane, though. And as we expected, it is a bit of a D-Day there inside of the pit lane.
So there's our race leader right now who has the only – well, no, there's actually like 3 cars on track that I think that have not pitted yet. But he is current race leader, and he's going to probably make it around for 19 laps before he pits. So
Kiko Lascelles. And I believe a new driver. I don't remember seeing Kiko Lascelles' name in Season 5.
Name either.
Yeah, so a new driver to Season 6 and trying the overcut strategy here on a couple of the veterans to maybe see if the clean air could be advantageous. And so possibly coming in at the end of this lap. I'm not too sure what the fuel gauge is looking like there for Kiko Lascelles, but pushing that car, yeah, absolutely. It's got to be on literal final strands, probably like 0.2 laps left to go. And literally pushing that car, and there they officially come in. It is indeed, as you can see, the fuel gauge bottom right-hand side. A little tiny red bar that's barely visible. And into the pit lane they come to get that pit stop served. A little bit of fuel. I just saw that car go off the jacks. Did you see that, Jim?
I did not.
That Porsche did change tires. I'm not too sure which Porsche that was, but they have gone onto new tires. So possibly a little bit of degradation.
Yes, it shouldn't be too hard to figure out because the time should be significantly larger. I'm going to say it was a Porsche, you said, for sure?
Correct, yeah, purple Porsche. It almost looked like Nick Marshall.
Oh. No, he pitted on lap 12.
Okay, so different Porsche.
Would have been somebody that pitted on lap 18 and a Porsche. Yeah, I'm looking at these pit times. I don't really see them. Whoever it was might have taken 2 tires.
Yeah, could be, definitely. I definitely saw the jacks, though, as they came up and down. So definitely
2 tires
someone
you can get done during a standard, pit stop.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's probably what it was a 2-tire situation, which is not necessarily a bad idea. You don't lose any time, and you do get 2 fresh tires. The issue with that is you got to warm them up, but with the brakes as hot as they are when you put them on the car, and then the track temperature, it's not as hard to warm the tires up on a day like today.
Yeah, definitely. So as we see our big Marina
Kiko
boat.
Lascelles is now in second place. He was not running in second prior to the pit stop cycle.
No, he was in third, just behind Faluna.
So he jumped Faluna.
Yeah, he's jumped.
So let's see. I'm going to see if I can make this work. Certainly not going to make that work.
Oh, they were seeing a pit cycle on the right-hand side. Yeah, so
that's your fastest.
the
As you can see, they go from green. This is counting in lap and out lap and everything.
So it looks like we've got
fastest.
Villarejo Senior as the fastest currently, and then obviously Akos follows. Marshall in third, 3 minutes 56 in the pit lane. That's a long time to be in the pit lane. I cannot lie to you.
No, that's total time.
Including
that's
lap.
In
including
lap
the lap
and
yeah,
out lap. Yeah.
I see. Total time in lap, out lap. So we'll look. Yeah. So
which
lane
is,
and box
if you
about
think about it,
45
that's
seconds.
a true, measure of a real pit cycle. Because getting the tires back up to temperature, things like that, that all factors in. I'm going to see what else we've got here. In theory, we got some other stuff. Let's take a look at this now. Okay, now this is by position on track. So that'll give you an indication as the top 10 drivers on track, how fast they pitted. And you can see Bradley Tidwell's overall pit cycle, including his out lap and in lap, was the slowest on this in the top 10 right here.
Yeah, it looks like he had a much longer in lap from that reading.
Could have been
the rest, the
traffic,
gearing,
too,
Claudio, could have definitely been there. At 2 minutes 26, he was at 4 minutes and 12 for his in lap. So definitely a much longer time spent out on track there for Bradley Tidwell on his in lap, and that's unfortunately wasted a lot of time that he's had to deal with. So I'm not too sure what exactly happened to Tidwell that added that extra time, but for now, he's got to work with it. As you can see, he's still up in 5th, and he's chasing down on Aaron Gearing. So definitely still within the fight here as we do hit the last 15 minutes on the clock, or the last 14 minutes to be exact. But that 15-minute countdown has officially started. Raul Pasta now still chasing down just behind Carlos Ruiz Padilla in that BMW M4. Another great livery up in front that he's got to chase down on as they go through the turn 15 chicanes. Trying to keep it nice and clean from the High Point Racing team, though. Carlos going down that back straight now will have pretty much equal speed to that 296, but the slipstream advantage, if he's able to get close enough for the likes of Raul Pasta, will be beneficial for him. And so that is going to be the objective now, is to try and get up to the top as fast as possible for these drivers. Aaron Gearing, though, down in 4th position, chasing for Luna. But as you can see on the background, it is Tidwell.
This is one I want to see here. I want to see this battle right here. See how it's developing. Come out of the pits, it seems that Tidwell is faster the last 2 laps after the pit stop than Aaron Gearing is. So, he is whittling away at that gap, which is, not that much. 3/4 of a no, he's about 3/4 of a second back.
Yeah, it's going to be a long fight there for the rest of them. But Tidwell's got great attacking chance here on Aaron Gearing, and as we can see on the bottom hand side, that was obviously the predicted attacking clock from Aaron Gearing and Bradley Tidwell. As you can see on the bottom end side, Tidwell, he is catching in 52 laps according to what the metric is saying, which is a long time.
I don't know about that, but
yeah, I also don't know about that. But he was faster for the previous 2 laps. He was slightly slower for lap 17, but obviously that got paused with a pit stop. So the pit stop is what really brought the likes of Bradley Tidwell closer to Aaron Gearing, and now he's just got to chase down on him. He is slightly faster on the past 2 laps, and so that is a little bit of a stress for Bradley Tidwell in terms of maintaining his position. You can see that just behind it is starting to close up, but he is losing the time now to Aaron Gearing up in front. It's over 1 second, and feeling that pressure from behind from the number 29 car. I believe that might be a back marker or somebody else. It is indeed Bradley Loving.
Loving spent good bit of time on pit road. He was obviously involved in something way back early in the race on lap 4 or 5, somewhere in there. In fact, tell you what, let's go see what happened to Brad Loving. He's obviously one of the league favorites, I need to probably
Mr. Lawnmower himself.
Oh, wait, what?
What on earth happened in the pit lane? That's a bit of a strange one.
Let me get rid of this, and we're going to see that again. What in the world just happened?
So something has definitely happened.
Oh, no,
in the
that's
pit lane.
back before the race even started.
Oh, I
was
see.
in
Okay,
between.
that's
All right, so that's not what. Oh, this software, I'm just turning it off. It's not, that part is not even beginning to help.
yeah.
But as we stay back on this battle up here, I definitely want to see. Oh, here's another. Oh, Omet. She's working her way up. She's up to 16th.
Yeah, looks like a good little bit of a comeback coming from Omet. She does have Curtis Matthews on the back end side, two different
She
divisions
actually just
that they're
went by
racing,
him.
but yeah, that's a great move from Omet just on the front side now of Curtis Matthews. And now the chase is on to Zamba Akos and Will Bailey. She's got to catch up to Jose Villarejo in 13th position. That is her next fighting opponent. The race are not in direct class. She does have 10 minutes left to go. Not a lot of time. So in my personal opinion, it would just be to bring the Audi home and try not to lose it like the few times she did in qualifying. And hopefully she can come out on a point-scoring position. For the remainder of the track, though, Ivan Veska currently 8/10 away from Curtis Matthews. That could be another overtake happening in the short while. And then obviously Bradley Tidwell, like we'd already mentioned, on the backside of Aaron Gearing for the battle for 5th position. And so that could be one that changes up yet again. We'll see if it's going to be a bit of a back and forth between Aaron Gearing and Bradley Tidwell. But for the time being, they're giving each other the space to just stay on track equally. As we do now see a little bit further is Ivan Veska. There he is, still busy chasing down on Curtis Matthews, about 8/10 of a second now, and still a little bit of a fight that he's got to work with.
You can literally look at that timing tower over there and tell that there is not a real serious battle going on at this point in time in the race.
Yeah, literally, we've got basically full white number borders, and like I mentioned earlier, if you weren't here, that is a representation of 1 second and above. So no direct fight involved with any of the drivers. Obviously, if somebody goes off and has a bit of an incident, then that's an easy overtake for all those who are behind him. But for any form of direct fighting, it's a little bit of a bummer to see all those numbers in white, because it means that we won't be having any form of intense battles for the time being. There's just too much distance between all of our drivers that they've got to work with.
Tell you, Curtis is around.
That was quite a shot on the back wing there. We just got it, and Curtis Matthews unfortunately goes around there. I'm not too sure what happened. That looked like just a little bit too hard under braking and trying to turn the car, and the rear's just locked up, and that is enough for you to force the car off the track.
Well, let's see what happened from this angle.
Oh, yeah, looks
yeah,
like
I think he was probably coming in there. My guess is he was probably coming in there a little hotter than he wanted to, and he probably tried to drag the brake a little bit, and it was just too much,
Yep, just too much indeed, and that happens often in the GT3s, especially the rear engine and mid-engine cars. Just slamming on the brakes or just braking a little bit too hard while trying to turn will be enough to completely over-rotate the car, and that's exactly what we've seen with Curtis Matthews. And we'll see it again on the replay now as he comes into the left-hander. Just too much on those brakes while trying to get the car rotated, and it's enough to beach it, as we just saw previously on that cam. But now he's got a bit of pressure from behind of Pernell Hanault. Obviously, two divisions fighting. No, sorry, the same division, actually.
Yeah.
They are busy fighting for raw positions. So this is now the task of Curtis Matthews to try and keep Pernell Hanault behind. And Curtis Matthews, newly promoted, the AM winner of last season, and now he's into Pro-Am. Fighting it out with Pernell Hanault. So all the best luck as he continues fighting for it. And let's hope that he can bring home some good points from Curtis Matthews, as Pernell Hanault doing everything he can to try and catch up.
Yeah, it's funny. He dominated last season. He had a lot of very good runs last season. That maybe dominated is a bit of a stretch, but he had a very, very good season, obviously. But it's going to be interesting to see. Well, first of all, whoa, he just spun again.
Oh, it's a bit of a rough one, it looks like, for Curtis Matthews.
He's in a different car.
Yep, that is true. The Corvette also completely different handling.
Yes, he was in the Acura and has been in the Acura since the Acura came out. He and I well, I've told the story many times. He and I were similar pace, and we both drove Acuras back then, and he kind of left me behind, but pace-wise. But, yeah, he is in a Corvette, and the characteristics of a Corvette compared to the Acura, the Corvette is a lot more tail happy. Good job by handling it right there to avoid that, which we did see that from on board, so we saw that happen right in front of our face. That's probably a getting used to the Corvette thing, and it's not, that car's not near. Oh, that curb almost got him. He's struggling right now. His back tires are probably just about the same temperature of the sun.
Yeah, I was just about to say, I think Curtis Matthews' tires are completely shot up. He might. The thing is, right, there's 5 minutes left of this race. If there was still 20 minutes.
Home at this point.
Yeah, exactly. If there was still 20 minutes, you could definitely try get it in. I think it would be worth it to try and get it in with a 20-minute slot. But with 5 minutes left, it is literally baby duty. You are making sure that those tires do not throw out on you in these last 5 minutes, as we now have a bit of a spectator of Landon Abbott, who just breaks into the right side
That's
wall.
my curb right there.
Yep, that is indeed your curb. It seems like it's affected someone. He tries to rejoin.
I want to see if the curb actually caused that, though. Let's see.
Could have been just a bit of over-rotation.
No, it wasn't a curb
Actually
at all.
Not.
Yeah,
Well, he avoided the curb.
Yeah.
And because he avoided the curb, it caused him to flick into an oversteer. So, I mean, maybe an assist, 50% of Landon Abbott's crash.
Scared him into the crash.
Exactly. That's exactly what happened to him. And an unfortunate one, though, but fortunately for him, it really wasn't that much damage. It could have been a lot worse, and he's able to get back out on track and keep on pushing. Quentin Price, though, is leading that train for 9th. Jonathan Williams is doing everything he can. He wants this pole position back, Jim, and he seems like it's worked out for him because he's managed to get ahead of Will Bailey, Raul Pasta, and Carlo Ruiz between these last couple of laps, and now he's all the way back on the backside yet again of Quentin Price. And now he just needs to make it official, get past Quentin Price, hold off for the last 3 minutes, and he will have taken the win in the Pro-Am Championship. And I think, not the Championship, sorry, the win in the Pro-Am race for tonight.
Well, you crowned him early.
That will obviously, crowned him real. I mean, he'll technically take the crown temporarily. You know, if he does win it, he'll take it for the night.
He will be the adjusted championship leader, yes.
Exactly.
No, and this is it's definitely been a good recovery for him here. Like I said, he started overall in like 4th or 5th place, I think. I'm pretty sure that Quentin Price has got something to say about that as well.
Yeah, definitely. So Quentin Price, also a name that we recognize from last season, and he had a lot of fighting done in the Pro-Am division. He was fighting a lot with pros as well. From what we can remember, up at the top of the top 5. So, Quentin Price definitely not someone to just throw into the back burner and think of him as an unworthy opponent. Definitely somebody that the Jonathan Williams is going to have to watch out for to get past. He's not going to make it a quick and easy march. He's going to make it super technical, and it's going to be a difficult one to get past that pink grass Porsche. It's going to be a bit of a mission from behind of Jonathan Williams, but let's see. He's obviously 8/10 just behind Jonathan Williams. That's Carlo Ruiz, who's 8/10 behind. So It's actually a 3-way fight here, and this could obviously get slightly messy depending on who attacks who first.
Well, I mean, these two, if they really start battling, and right now it would appear that Quentin Price, if you look at the last 3 laps or last 4 laps, Jonathan Williams has been faster on every one of them. So it would appear that right now Quentin Price is probably to some degree holding Jonathan Williams up, which the problem with that is that's bringing Carlos right into the fight here. So at this point, I'm sure Jonathan Williams is probably thinking, man, I need to get going here. Otherwise, I'm going to be in a battle and I'm going to end up, getting tied up with Carlos back there behind me when I really should just be ahead of all these guys. So at some point here, the patience is going to wear out with 2 minutes to go. He's going to make a lunge for the win in this race. I'm mean, to win this the Pro-Am division here today. Speaking of leaders, we'll jump up here real quick. Obviously, Ryan Merriam, back to, it's like same different race, same result. He's 9.5, almost 10 seconds ahead overall. Just picked right back up where he left off last season. I don't know if you remember, but last season, Brian Faluna here, Brian Faluna and Ryan Merriam, if I'm not mistaken, were 1, 2, and we had the top 4 cars crash out in the first race of last season. Do you remember that?
I do remember that. Yes, that was quite intense.
To be honest, I'm quite shocked that I remembered that. But that was an interesting one. I remember both of us hollering as soon as that happened because it was literally like all 4 of the top 4 cars in the race.
Yeah, the top 4 indeed, and I mean that was quite an interesting one. As coming up towards the end now, though, Jim, it is officially 55 minutes on the clock. 29 minutes has gone by, so I think our prediction was pretty safe. If you have to ask me, I think we said around 28 to 32 laps, and it looks like 29 is going to be the golden number. Ryan Merriam will indeed be on that white flag lap, depending on where he is out on the track currently. Looks like he's just about to start the lap, so this should be final lap as we are officially over the clock. And Kiko Lascelles, look at the gap that has been generated by Ryan Merriam. It is a 9.9 second gap currently to Kiko Lascelles, which is basically means that Ryan Merriam has got the biggest pillow in the world right now. He has got a lot of breathing room to the likes of Brian Faluna behind him, and that is going to put a huge safety net on him, meaning even if he has some form of small spin or something that he was mistakenly doing, he's got a lot of time to turn that car around and point it back towards the finish line. What tag?
Talk about commentator curse. Even if he has a small spin, well, you talk about talking him right into a commentator curse. Holy cow.
Well, I mean, if it does happen, he's got the time and the pillow, that he can, relax a little bit, he doesn't have that immediate stress. But to be honest, that stress is kind of over because he's coming along to the checkered flag line now.
Julian Reyes he's sitting there right behind the leader. He's like, I'm leading this AM division. I'm just going to stay right here behind Ryan. And when Ryan crosses and wins the race,
indeed,
I got my win too. There he is coming across right behind.
And that's what he does. And he doesn't have to complete another lap, which is a glorious moment for him. I know that feeling. It's quite a satisfying feeling when you don't have to go again.
Let's see if there we turns into Lunge City here between these 4. Well, there's 3 guys battling for race position in class, and then 4 guys overall battling here for overall position.
It's going to be a hard hold there for Jonathan Williams because he's obviously got Quinton, Carlos, and Villarejo just behind.
Williams did get by. Just got by
he
Quentin.
did.
In fact, I'm going to jump right back here real quick and take a look. Well, he's already ahead of him there.
I think it was actually before the chicane even of turn 15 where he was able to get ahead, possibly.
Right. Yep.
As, OBA, he's already ahead, and I'm pretty sure he's already crossed the checkered flag line now live and taken the win. Yep, he's already gone past. There he just goes. And that's going to be the lead of your AM and obviously your Pro Am, and obviously the AM has already come across with Julian Wright.
I'm going to go back and try to find that overall taking of the lead there because I want to see that happen for him. Okay, so here it is. Yeah, Price is sailing down there, running kind of a bit of a defensive line there, and I think that cost him his corner entry there, and that allowed Williams to drive around him.
That was a great read, though, from Williams, I've got to say, because he just closed the corner too much, and then on the exit had way too much of a narrow entry into that next corner, and it was just enough flow for Williams to get past here. A little bit messy over the curb there, I can't lie.
Oh, my goodness, yeah. So I'm going to go back one more real quick and take a look at that again. Yeah, look at this. You can see he's running a very defensive line down there, blocking that inside, and it just crushed his corner entry there. It just allowed Williams to drive right around him. But that curb, man, holy cow, look at this. So he's got it done right there. He's clean and done, and then he hits this curb, and boom, you can see the back end step out. Wow, all right.
Yeah, that could have been an end to his win, but fortunately he was able to control it But that is officially it in terms of this one and only feature race. No multi-race here for the Old Guy Racing League. And
So
we get to go through our standings
yeah, let's do
at
them.
the end.
Let's do them by class. So we'll do
Yep, we can go by class.
we'll do the AMs first.
Yeah, coming up in your AMs, obviously staying just pocketed behind. Apparently it's Robert Sackett,
Hold
but
up.
I thought it would be
Never mind.
Julian
My bad.
Race. Yeah,
There
I
we
think
go.
this might be qualifying. There we go. It is indeed Mr. Julian Race, who stays right behind the pro leader to resist another lap. Robert Sackett comes second with a little bit too many incident points to his name. Michael Champlin holds off third with Nick Marshall to 14 incident points to his name. Landon Abbott, who we saw just tackling the turn 15 chicane a little bit too hard in fifth, with Brandon Berg just following him in sixth. Cameron Risley, a veteran as well, down seventh position. And Hayes Bogan and David Stoops, our final driver here for the AM. We then move over to your Pro-Ams for tonight. It is indeed Jonathan who takes the win on the final lap for the Pro-Am division. Jonathan Williams takes the lead with Quinton Price just a bit further behind him in second. Carlos Ruiz Padilla will take third, and Raul Pasta takes fourth position. Moore Bailey and Zomba Akos will take fifth and sixth. Curtis Matthews, after that slight drop-off and a couple of spins and control issues he was having with his car, down seventh. Brian Dukowski in that Tagua livery, down eighth. And Bernard Hanault in ninth position, with Pal Corrali down 10th. 11th is Cole Modric and Kevin Miller and Micah Dickerson down 13th position. Unfortunately, not really completing this race with 21 laps down on the clock. We then move over to your final class.
I got a quick news flash real quick on the Pro-Am here while I turn this pit thing off. Purnell ran out of fuel on the last lap and
that is unfortunate.
and lost places. Yeah, so I just was watching on track. He ran out and somebody was giving him a little bit of a push. But yeah, he ran out of fuel on the last lap.
Well, a bit of a lesson there to learn for Hanault for next week. Hopefully, next week Sunday morning can be slightly better for him. But for the pros, it is indeed Ryan Merriam showing the exact same skill as the two-timer does up in first position. Kiko Lascelles will take second. Exactly. 0 incident points. Kiko Lascelles following in a great streak as well. Only 1 incident point, same as Brian Faluna in third position. Aaron Gearing had a bit of more of an eventful night. 6 incident points to his name. Down in fourth with Bradley Tidwell in fifth position. Alexander Claudio will take sixth with Stephen Smalley in seventh position. Alan Purser takes eighth with Jose Carlos Villarejo Sr. in ninth. It is then Omid Ohm with a bit of a recovery from the drop-off down to 16th, who takes 10th in class. Ivan Veska, who has a bit of an incident in turn number 1, lap number 1, unfortunately finishes down to 11th. Jeremy Cheney, a bit of a difficult morning here for him, down 12th, and Bradley Lovings will take 13th position. Then finally, Dustin Diaz will take your final spot of the pros in 14th, and that is your official standings for tonight's racing. It looks like we've got 2 ready for an interview just post-race. We do indeed have Jonathan Williams and Ryan Merriam. We'll take Jonathan first, as I don't know if our AM winner is going to be joining in, Mr. Julian Reese. I do see Brian Faluna's joined in as well, but let's quickly do our race leaders first. So Jonathan Williams, you are live on the commentary box at Motor Mouth Broadcasting. And first off, absolute massive congratulations for your first win of the season here in the Pro-Am division at Miami. How are you feeling after that race?
Lucky. Very lucky.
So, hey, what took you so long to win a race this season, man? I don't know. I didn't think you were ever going to get it done. No, man, that was a nice pass, though. You spotted that he was running that defensive line, and you just sent it in there right around him and made that happen, didn't you?
Yes, I did, yeah. The only scary part was I was 1-4X away from a penalty, so
Ooh.
kind of on
taking the risk.
Yeah, at the beginning of the race, I was driving like crap. I was trying to use people's bumpers as my stopping point, unfortunately. I mean,
8 tires are better than 4 for stopping.
Yes, it is. I really just don't like bumping into the back people, really.
But, no, that was a good victory, though, man. You fought your way back after the beginning of the race, dropped down, quite a few spots. I think you, started in 4th or 5th?
Yep, starting 5th,
yeah.
Went pretty much 10th.
Yeah, but still, though, I mean, to come back and get the class win there, and you made it happen on the last lap, that's pretty exciting.
Yep, very, very exciting. Looking forward to this season.
Yeah, a whole season to come up ahead. But obviously, Miami being a nice new feature here in the GT3 calendar for you guys, and quite a hot track out there for your morning of racing. How did it feel in that McLaren?
Extremely, extremely slippery. I mean, that was my problem. I practiced some for hot track, but apparently not enough. Like I was slipping and sliding everywhere and overdriving cars, not braking early enough, essentially.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's going to be a mutual feedback across the grid. A very slippery track and different kind of asphalt with it being based on that parking lot. But seems you managed it well, and obviously getting that legendary overtake towards the end of it. You do indeed head to the Hockenheimring on the 31st of May. How do you feel for that track as the second round for the OGRL Coffee Cup?
I like that track. It's a pretty solid track. It's better than this track, that's for sure. I have plenty of experience on that one.
Well, how you
Yeah,
feel about round
legendary
3
track.
then? Let's talk about that for a split second. St.
Yeah,
Petersburg.
okay.
Do you
Yeah,
own it
St.
yet?
Petersburg. Nope. I didn't own Miami until 2 weeks ago.
Oh, well,
So I might like practice half a Hockenheimer and get like a head start on the next one.
I mean, that might not
Yeah,
be
that
the
could be,
worst decision.
No,
Yeah.
it's not,
I was
I
going to
don't
say
think
the
so.
same thing. getting
Looks pretty
the
difficult.
getting the footstep ahead for the following track. Hockenheim, like you said, a bit more of a common one, and then St. Petersburg might be a bit more of a challenge, especially if you haven't tried it out yet. But I'm all done with the questions. Anything else you wanna ask Jonathan, Jim?
No, not at all. Congratulations. You're off to a good start this season. You were clearly
Yeah.
really fast in qualifying. Yeah, if looks to be shaping up to be a good season for you. So
Yep.
can't wait to watch it unfold.
Yep, man. My kids don't have travel soccer moving forward, so I
Oh
don't have
yeah,
to miss any races.
isn't that
Very
Um,
nice.
that's the best, and you don't have to spend half your
spend
fortune
$4,000.
chasing travel soccer.
Yep. Yeah, I'll just give
But
a quick shout out to Alan Jr.
yeah, I
He's the
was
one
gonna
who
ask
told
that
me to
now.
take 2 tires, and I moaned and whined the first 3 laps of it, and he's telling me to get out of my head. Without him, I wouldn't have passed Quentin. So, thank you.
Seems like listening to the strategy worked out for you. But thank you so much for joining us in the virtual commentary box, and we'll see
Yep.
you on May 31st for Hockenheim.
Yes, sir. Y'all take care.
All right.
Have a good one. That was Mr. Jonathan, great guy, and
let's
great
bring
win.
in
I'm going to
Ryan.
take Mr. Yeah, I'm bringing Ryan here for the win, and then we can grab a couple of other drivers who are just jumping in for some fun. But Ryan Merriam had all the most fun here tonight with that massive gap up in the lead. Welcome into the virtual commentary box here at Motormouth Broadcasting, and another massive win, the two-time seasonal winner, Ryan Merriam. You've taken it yet again by storm at Miami. How does it feel to take the lead here?
Feels great. Thanks, guys. Good to talk to you again. I really like driving around here, and so I was pretty excited when I saw it was the first track of the season. And yeah, it was a good race. 0 mistakes. Had good pace, and starting from pole just really helps. Getting that jump and little cushion behind you. Brian was right there, and we were, Kiko was also had really good pace. So it wasn't easy to escape those guys, but once the race played out a little bit, got a little more comfortable.
Yeah, I was about to say that cushion wasn't necessarily small. I mean, you ended the race with over 10 seconds of a gap behind, so I think the cushion at the end was quite relaxing. I'm sure you took a nice rest on it throughout most of the race. But overall, a question we've been asking, obviously, this track proved to be a little bit of a difficult one in terms of the heat management out on track. How did the tires feel on the Porsche managing it for 55 minutes?
Not horrible. I didn't take any tires. Just it's just being careful with your throttle application. This track requires a lot of patience in a lot of the corners, and getting on the throttle smoothly and not abruptly. And if you can just force yourself to do that every single lap, you save quite a bit of rubber. I had a few sketchy moments though, for sure, towards the end in that long left-hander. I almost looped it around with like a few to go, and so I kind of after that really took it easy. But overall, yeah, not terrible. I've had worse, but it was definitely like the S section and a couple corners were tricky for sure.
So I got
Absolutely.
a couple things. First is I have to say it's quite refreshing to see you back in the Porsche. That's what I identify you with, and I struggled last season. Seeing you in the Aston Martin, it just wasn't. I don't know. To me, this is you. It's kind of like Bradley. Lovings. The fact that he's back in the Porsche. Seeing him in anything else to me is just kind of weird. I always identify him in a Porsche, and I do you as well. So for me, it's great to see you back in the Porsche, and clearly it was well suited for this track. There was a lot of them out there, and they all seem to go pretty well around here. I think with the technical nature of a good portion of this track, it seemed to lend itself to the Porsche.
Yeah, for sure. The Porsche was one of the quicker cars here, and if you look at our schedule, I decided the Porsche was going to be the best choice, and I did miss driving it. It is by far my favorite car to drive. It is just a joy. Front engine cars are fun, but I just can extract a little bit more out of the Porsche than every other car.
It got a bit of a favorable bop too on the last overall bop that they did. I'm not talking about the special event ones, but when they made that last change, I don't know, a month or two ago, whatever it was, not 2 months, but about a month or so ago, it did get a pretty favorable, balance, and it was already kind of rebounding anyway. So, I was, but just for personal, for lack of a better word, nostalgia sake, I like to see you in the Porsche. To me, it just fits you. So, but, awesome. I guess the only other thing I wanted to say was, different season, different track, same result. It's, you seem to certainly have not lost any of your form. There seems to be a few new quick faces around the league, and so it's going to be fun to see how those battles shape up as the season goes on, and so I'm looking forward to that. But good, congratulations again, and you certainly set the bar high for them to as long as you can make all the races this year. The damn real life gets in the way. I hate when that happens.
Yeah, I know you say I always say this, but I would be shocked if I made all the races.
Well, I mean, you said that
do we
last
race
year,
next,
but you did.
Do we race next Sunday?
Yeah. So.
Or do we have a break next Sunday? I can't
next
remember.
Sunday we're off, and then week after is
that's
Hockenheim,
cool.
So.
I was gonna say I got to work next Sunday, so that's good that's off.
There you go. Well, if you pay the,
it might just work out. You never know.
You pay the admins enough money, they'll adjust the schedule for you.
I'll have to ask him how much an extra drop weeks costs.
That's right. Yeah. But no, congratulations, buddy, and look forward to seeing this season how it shakes out for you.
Yeah, me too. Thanks, appreciate it, guys.
Incredible stuff. Thanks so much for the coming into the box, and we'll see you in 2 weeks' time.
Sounds good. Hope to see you there.
Cheerio. That was Ryan Merriam. We've got 2 more left. I think we bring Brian in and then have a chat with Omet at the end. We fine with that?
Yeah.
Alrighty. Mr. Brian Faluna, also topping it off in a great way in our pro class, finishing it off just inside of the podium there. Finishing off a strong P3 in the pro class. How are you feeling after that race at Miami?
Sweaty. That's
Sweaty.
the best way to describe that one.
On track or in car?
I had the fan right next to me on high on a few points. I wish I could dial it in. I could not hit that closing radius left-hander. Between the laps today and the laps yesterday, I think I got that turn right twice. So I don't like that corner. I am not a fan. I think we should just blow that. No, just straight line it. That was so awful. But no, congrats out to Ryan. He had great pace today. And then trying to hunt down Kiko there at the end. Oh, so close. I mean, we were so close. So
yeah, just not enough to catch up to him at the the end. You were mentioning you were sweating though. Was obviously that was in real life, but how was the track feeling like in terms of heat? Because from our side, we're seeing that the rubberization was quite high. How were you managing it in the Porsche?
Yeah, it was a little surprising. The first stint, I didn't really take advantage of it because I was still taking a lot of corners a little narrower on the entry, so I was probably burning out the fronts and then sliding the rears, and then towards the end of the stint, I started paying the price, like the back end, particularly towards the little left, right, left section under the bridge. I could feel the car just wanting to slip and slide. And so I just took the gamble and took tires. I don't know if Kiko did.
No, that's probably where the difference ended up being. I was looking at the difference in your overall pit times, and that's I think where he jumps you was in the pits, and it was just you just weren't able to recover it, I think.
Yeah, it was like he was like a 29.9. I think I was like a 31.7 or a 32.7, and then Ryan was like half a second faster in the pits. I only took 3. I didn't take the front left because it wasn't too beat up in practice, and the temps were a little lower than yesterday's practice.
Right.
But, I mean, it was good though. Like I was actually surprised I was able to hunt down Kiko. I had a close call with Ken in the Merc in turn 3, where the rear end just kicked out on him and he spun, and I was just terrified. I was like, oh my God, I'm going to just T-bone him. But thankfully, got past him there and then only lost about half a second. And that,
well,
that could have been the difference.
I have to say your season started off much better this year than it did last year.
Jim, I'll take your word for it. I honestly don't remember how it started out,
Spa,
but I know,
if I'm not mistaken, and all 3 or 4 of you leaders all crashed together.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
Yes.
We tried to create I think we tried to create a Porsche.
No,
Aston,
it was an Aston,
BMW,
yeah.
and I think we tried to create a 4-in-1 car where we took the best of each and just smashed into each other.
Yeah, we were talking about that during the broadcast. It was, that was quite memorable, to see all the leaders, crash out together like that,
But it gave Hayden a win. So on the bright side, Hayden got a win there.
That's right. That's right.
But I think this season will be kind of like my last season because I will not be able to make most of the races. I think I've got maybe 2 races left, and then in true military fashion, I'm going to be moving. So I will be without my stuff. Yeah. I might be able to catch the final 2 races of the year. So
I know that
we'll take these on, have some fun.
I'm doing the move thing. My wife is with the government as well, and we're moving, really soon, actually. In like 3 weeks, we're moving to Florida. So.
Oh, same. Well, not Florida.
Oh.
But I'm moving soon.
Yeah, it's luckily for me, I don't have to have my driving rig set up. I can broadcast without it. So, but look, man, like I said, good start. Whatever you can be here for is great, and we'll certainly miss you and your pace, and one of the few in the league that can push Ryan a little bit, and he's obviously quite tough. We're going to have to start giving him weight penalties for every win or something to slow him down. But congratulations. You had a good run tonight, and we had good fun and fun little track, I think.
Yeah, it was.
It
was interesting. God, I hate that double left, triple, whatever you want to call it. I just absolutely hate it. Oh my God.
Chicane.
Yeah. It's interesting. I'm not a fan. I kind of like normal, like real tracks, like Suzuka, Spa, Sebring, Road America.
Well, it's a good thing you're missing a few races this year. We got several street circuits on the core schedule this year.
Yeah. Best of luck for everybody, especially what is
St. Petersburg?
Where are they going? Oh yeah, God.
Yeah,
nope,
Ben,
you can have that.
Of course, one. Long Beach too. That's a notoriously tough track too.
Surprisingly, I don't mind Long Beach, but it's not in my top 10. Never. You couldn't pay me enough money. But anywho,
all right, buddy.
Now, overall, Good race.
Congratulations,
Appreciate it.
and we'll
Yeah.
see you for the ones you can make anyway.
All right, fellas.
All
Been a
right,
pleasure.
man.
Have a good one, man.
Yep. Bye.
Mr. Brian Faluna, and we've got one more, our very own Matt joining us, and that was Matt. Welcome into
I don't
the
even want to
commentary
know
box.
what
But
that said, but
yeah, no, I also don't know what
I'm
was going on there.
hangry. I'm angry.
You're angry. Yeah, I can imagine. I mean,
No,
I'm
no, I'm
welcoming
fine.
to the box as if you're not used to it. But how did the race go?
So qualifying, I binned, and I didn't really set a lap except like one on cold tires, and then during warm up, my game crashed, and when I loaded back up, I missed a start, and I started from pits, and when green flag went and the last car went by, it made me wait 15 more seconds before I could move. So I went out of the pits like 20 seconds behind the last car.
that's
Um,
definitely a
Okay.
tough way to start the day.
Yeah. Yeah, so I had to just kind of try to work my way up. I could have been like 14th, but I binned it, so GG.
That is an unfortunate one of note, and I mean, it's a bit of a tough one. But I know Miami's relatively new with the GT3 stuff. Have you done anything in terms of Miami before this with the GT3s?
I have a collective of 3 races this past year. I've never been on this track in my entire life, but like I bought it this morning. So
This morning, I lost
Um,
the last minute decision then.
no, I practice usually when the practice session starts. That's when I learn the track. So
I see. But I mean, in 2 weeks' time, on the 31st of May, we'll obviously head to a bit of a classic with the GT3s, the Hockenheimring GP circuit. How do you feel about that in the Audi R8?
I have never driven on that track in any sim, so it's another track to learn.
Wow. Wow. Okay, I would have thought Hockenheim at least, but I mean, it's going to be a bit of a challenge then learning it. It's a nice, fun
she's an
track.
LMU person, so
That's true, 100%. But I mean, Hockenheim, I feel like no matter what sim you play, you would have at least driven Hockenheim once. So, but I mean, a big question I think for tonight, especially being the only car on grid, how did the legendary Audi feel around Miami?
I mean, I heard it's not the best car, but I don't know, it handled okay. I liked them when the tires like wore out at the end, and it started feeling like more alive. Big enjoy, but I think it is a little tough to drive at times, especially in those like sections of big curves. This car does not like curves, so yeah. But I think I like the flow of the track. Like I think over time I was trying to catch like 5th and 6th and stuff at some points, like when it comes to pace. So I think it's a cool track, very, very fun.
Yeah, definitely one that's going to take some time to get used to for our drivers, but I think it was a great race, like you said, nice technical circuit. Jim, do you have any further questions before we head out?
only one that I would have at this point was I was looking forward to seeing you run your VR view, but you didn't run your webcam today.
I did not know the room name.
Oh,
Probably should have
Yeah.
asked.
yeah, that would have been good. Should have messaged before. Could have hooked you up.
Yes. Next time.
Next time, yes. All right.
Alrighty then, but yeah, I mean, is there anybody you'd like to thank or mention before you get out the box?
I would like to thank Audi for abandoning this car. Very lovely guys. Thank you for your service. I hate
Feel the
you.
pain.
And
the pain.
thank you, my car for being fun.
That's
What
a
people say.
great.
Thank you, Random Refrigerator Company. I don't know. Do you think I'm sponsored by anyone?
Random refrigerator company. But I mean, it's been great to have a chat with you, and hopefully we get to have the same chat in 2 weeks' time when we head to Hockenheimring. Thanks so much.
Yes.
Alrighty, and that brings us to the end of our stint here today at Miami. It has been an absolutely great one, Jim. What are our post-race debriefs after seeing such an eventful way with the GT3s.
Yeah, I mean, great start to the new season. Tough track, and it showed. And people are going to be shaking the rust off a little bit, but overall, not really a lot of like big time crashing into each other too much. It was mostly just hot tires, hot track kind of spins for the most part, which is saying something considering it's the first race of the year. Usually there's just some complete silliness, sometimes in those races. So yeah, overall great race and good start to the season. I'm excited.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm excited as well. I won't be here for all of them, but for the ones I will be here for, it's going to be a great showdown of events again between our 3 divisions. But like we've been mentioning for most of the night, we do indeed head to the Hockenheim Ring in 2 weeks' time on May the 31st, which is going to be another great track to watch the GT3s go absolute brawl together in the 3 divisions. Once again, a massive thank you to all the sponsors, channel sponsors, as well as the league sponsors who have made this possible yet again at the Old Guy Racing League for season number 6. My name has been Tristan Earps, joined by Jim Cunningham in the production box as well as the commentary box. We'll see you in 2 weeks' time with the second round of the Old Guy Racing League. Thank you so much. Cheerio.